What's up guys, my name's Liam, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Attack Shark X8 Pro and X8 Ultra. This is another G Pro Superlight clone, but the build on these has felt pretty impressive. So in this video I'm going to break down how my experience has been using them so far, and hopefully by the end of this video I'll be able to help you decide whether or not any one of these could possibly be the perfect gaming mouse for you. So let's check it out. And before we get started today, I did want to let you know these were sent out to me. However, everything in this video is going to be my own words and my own opinions. Included inside the box, it does come with some stickers, documentation. They also did include these rubberized grips, and they actually do feel really sticky and pretty grippy. I also really do appreciate the fact that it did come with an extra set of skates, as I did end up having to use them as I did open these mice up to try and do latency tests on them, a USB-C to USB Type-A cable, and both of these mice, though they do have a different firmware and MCU on them, the receiver on them does look this exact same, where it does have this clear, an LED does shine through it as you're using it, does have a rubberized bottom, USB-C connectivity over here on the rear. All right, here we have both of these mice. I got the Pro over here on the left-hand side, Ultra over here on the right hand side, and just the general feeling and layout of these, they do feel identical in the hands when you are holding onto them. So the bottom functionalities, you can see the same. You do have your off button or the wired mode in the middle. This also does have Bluetooth capability and the wireless receiver up at the top to turn on. DPI button over here on the left hand side. These both have the same skate design, but as you can probably tell through the camera, the skate color on these are a little bit different. I do feel like the ones that come on the Ultra feel just a little bit smoother to me, but either way, both these skates on this actually do feel pretty decent. Coming back over the top, I didn't see any mention of a coating that is applied to these mice, but it does feel like there's some type of coating there. It does feel pretty grippy. Anyways, for my skin type, it does get a little bit more slippery if somebody gets sweaty hands. But aside from that, the build quality on these, as far as the shell integrity goes, even opening these mice up and putting them back together, I haven't noticed any issues with any areas of weakness points on them or anything like that. So everything's felt pretty good so far. One of the first differences between both of these mice is that the X8 Pro is using Omron mechanical switches. And the implementation on this one, it actually does feel pretty good. You don't get a whole lot of pre-travel there. The post-travel is even pretty solid. A little bit more of play coming up here in the front. And I would say definitely on these Omron mechanicals, they do feel quite a bit heavier actually clicking back here from the rear. But aside from that, the implementation on this, not too bad. No real major noticeable side-to-side play. The Ultra, however, in my opinion, is the preferred choice just all around. This does have the Omron opticals in it, which personally I'm a much bigger fan of. These do definitely feel a lot more lightweight and easier to spam. When it does come to the pre and post, still also does feel pretty solid on this mouse. It's kind of the same thing, a little bit more play up here in the front, but I feel like you notice a little bit less since these switches are a little bit lighter. And I even feel like you get a little bit more consistent clicking from front to back, where it doesn't seem to feel as heavy back there from the rear for me. But everything else about the play on these clicks and everything does feel pretty spot on. The scroll experience that you do get on these mice, I feel like you get a little bit of a lighter scroll with less defined steps. And then the center scroll click, I'd say a little bit more on the stiffer end. When it does come to these side buttons on these mice though, I feel like everything about the placement on them is pretty good. Honestly, these side buttons, they feel really good. You get very minimal play for the pre-travel. Hardly none there in the center. Once you do click, you do get a little bit of post-travel there. Just kind of push a little bit in the shell, but nothing too bad. And I don't notice any major wobbling on these side buttons at all. Little tighter tensioning up here on the front side button, and honestly just kind of a real similar experience even over here on the Pro. So the side buttons on this, they do feel really good. All right, so let's go ahead and drop a click quality sound test between both the Omron mechanicals and the opticals in these mice. When it comes to the weight and balance, everything for both these mice have been feeling great on the balance. This is the Pro version, the fuller size skates. Got it coming in at about 58.3 grams. Again, everything on the Ultra, like I said, with the balance does feel solid as well. So throwing the Ultra on the scale, looks like we got it about 59.2.3-ish grams. All right, so now when it comes to the performance and the software for both of these mice, these are using different internals. The Pro is using a BK MCU, whereas the Ultra is using the Nordic. So you're gonna have a different software for both of these. And I do wanna tell you really quickly that I did try getting click latency numbers on my XLAT, and unfortunately I wasn't able to pull any numbers off of these for whatever reason. It just wasn't compatible, wasn't giving me a consistent read. However, I do know with my previous experience that the Nordic MCU has just been faster in all the types of latency tests that I have done. And also, with that being said, we'll take a look at the software really quick. For the Pro version, it does allow you to do types of things like adjust your polling rate, your DPI. The one thing about this mouse, however, is the lowest click to bounce setting it does allow you to go down to is 4 milliseconds. So based off of this fact alone, and like I said, with my history with testing out these different types of MCUs and softwares, I can almost guarantee the other mouse is just going to have an all-around better performance. And then next up over here for the Ultra version, this is using the CompX firmware solution and a software also that we've seen many times. This one does allow you to drop the click to bounce setting down as low as 0 milliseconds. Coming over on this next page, it will allow you to do things like adjust your polling rate and your DPI. Then over here on the final page is where I always recommend enabling the setting right here to give you a stronger frequency for more reliable performance. All right, so now we will talk about the shape. I'll just go ahead and keep the Ultra up here. Like I've already mentioned to you, not a whole lot to talk about considering the fact that this is basically just a clone. Pulling up the G Pro Superlight 2, when putting these next to each other, the overall width of these, just the length, everything does feel really similar to one another. Curve profile, as you can see, this one does have a little bit of a larger skate design though on it. Here's a look at the curve profile from top down to the sides, looking at both of these from the rear. And then last but not least, here's a look of the curve profile from front to back on these. Alright guys, so that wraps things up on the brand new Attack Shark X8 Pro and X8 Ultra. There's currently a thunderstorm going on in my house in the background right now, so I do apologize if that is coming through on the mic. I'll try and do my best to edit it out. But when it does come to both of these mice, honestly, really impressed. Without question, I would absolutely recommend going with the Ultra, just due to the fact that I do know that you're going to get a little bit better performance. I also do prefer mouse 1 and 2 in the Ultra as well, and I think this one is only like $10 or $12 more or something like that. So absolutely my choice would be to go with this one. But either way, I still think that both these mice are great. I even think that the Pro does feel really solid. And though I'm not personally that big of a fan of just the G Pro shape in general, I will say that just everything about the build of this, the feeling of it, the performance has truly felt really fantastic, especially coming in at the price point that it's coming in. Sorry, I got my dog. He's freaked out by the thunderstorms. All right, come on, dude, stop. But like I was saying, just the performance of skates that this does come with, the build of it, everything does feel really solid. So if this is something that you're interested in, you do like the G Pro shape, at the price point this is coming in at, honestly, these mice have felt really solid. So if you guys do have any additional questions or feel like I left anything out, please let me know in the comments down below. If you have enjoyed watching this video and are interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, please drop this video a like and subscribe to my channel. And thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And sorry, my dog was getting in the way here in this video.